Hi Ashish, welcome to the session. And today is the 16th episode of our podcast, Career Journeys, Real World, Real Insights. With this, we would like to take ahead the session and we want to know from you what was the reason you entered into this field and how has your journey been from the time you did your education till date?
Yeah, I was very fortunate to be part of a very good school and surrounded by um, highly motivated teachers and my fellow peers. That's a big reason that prompted me to take up engineering as a career option. I come from a family where who did not. So I'm the first engineer in my family. So all of my family members, whether it be my aunts or uncles, even my father and mother, they are all commerce majors. So they are all Delhi University graduates, and they have all studied BCom honors or BCom somewhere related to the commerce stream. I have an aunt who is a professor of economics at Delhi University. So throughout my life, I've only been surrounded by commerce faculty and commerce people. But when I started studying, right, and I was very poor at maths till grade five, so I did not do well at maths at all. So, but it was because of one teacher, and in fact, two teachers that changed my perspective of how I looked at STEM education, how I looked at mathematics, how I looked at sciences. And that's the reason why it changed. That change in perspective and how I started to enjoy these subjects is what prompted me to take up engineering and to take up specially, let's say, mechanical engineering or computer sciences as a field to pursue. Uh, AI, if you look at what we do here at MethdAI, is not what was really part of my curriculum when I was graduating. I mean, of course, we'd had curriculum, like we had some courses on neural networks as part of the Mechatronics degree, and we had some courses on robotics. But now, if you look at the same curriculum, it's completely changed. You won't even recognize what it is, especially when you go to good universities. Like I think you told me that Punya is looking at Ivy League universities to pursue his computer science degree. So those degrees have significantly changed over in the last 10 years with the introduction of AI. Now you have special degrees in AI and ML as bachelor's program. Uh, so uh, that, so now if you look at the opportunities that are available to students as far as engineering degrees are concerned, they are a lot. And the only way to like go about it is because it is not easy. It's not going to be easy, but no satisfying job is supposed to be easy. I mean, learning is supposed to be hard, right? Only then is when you learn, when you face hardship, when you fail and you try again is only, and that is what uh, that is what I enjoy most. So I feel that mathematics especially and being enjoying mathematics is what prompted me to pursue STEM and pursue mechanical engineering.
So, mathematics was the push which came from two teachers. And
Yes,
along with your background, you were motivated and you were willing to go ahead and do this.
yes,
So, would
yes.
you also share some information to us? What is AI and ML and what are the different entry routes for this?
So AI and ML is continuously changing. If you'll be surprised to know if you don't already know, it is as old as 1950. So the first time when AI was introduced was all the way back in 1950. And now we are in 2024, which is 70 years, 80 years later. So, and there was a very long period of time when there was AI winter. So for a good 20, 30 years after AI being introduced to the world, there was no development that happened in AI. And only in the last 2 to 3 years, you will see AI become so mainstream that even grandparents have started to use it,
Yeah.
just like they started to use the smartphone. So the change in AI is profound right now, especially in the last 2 to 3 years. And it will continue to change everything for the next couple of years, at least for the next 5, 6 years. So, for a student who is right now looking for a career, it's a very unique time to be a graduating student because there is no precedence for this that is happening right now in the field of computer science. There are multiple paths that are available to the student, and it's not that I can say that you can go and ask your peers for a feedback of how a particular college's bachelor's program in AI looks like, because it might be the first time that they have just introduced it, and it might be only a 1 or 2 years. You might not even find alumni who have graduated yet from those programs. So, what I would, if I were you, I would look at the colleges and a more general approach to approaching computer science as a bachelor's program, because that will give you flexibility when you are actually inside the institute. And also do your independent, ask around, see who are the professors who are teaching, who are going to take up these courses when you pick up, let's say, a bachelor's program in computer science in one of these Ivy League colleges, and try and compare those programs with each other. If you're a very good student, which Miss Sachi told me that you are, you might get into more than one or two colleges that offer a computer science degree. So then, if you have that choice, which is a luxury that most people do not get that opportunity, then you should take the most advantage of it and try and compare those programs with each other, because these programs change. I mean, the curriculum changes very quickly, especially for computer science. So just ask around. Maybe if you have some alumni who have graduated in the last 1 or 2 years, you want to ask them and compare which program is better. Because in most colleges, not all engineering programs are the same. Like, in some colleges, the mechanical engineering program might be better. In the other, the computer science program might be better. It all depends on the professor. So I recommend that you ask around a little bit more and do a little bit of your own research, and then decide on the college to pick your degree.
So, Punya, you have questions you can ask directly.
One question I had is like, what's the main difference between AI and ML?
So AI, you can think of as a, if you draw a Venn diagram, AI is like the big circle, okay, and then machine learning is a part of AI. So machine learning is basically split into two categories. One is supervised learning, and one is unsupervised learning. And then within machine learning, you will have a subset called deep learning. Okay, and all of this is AI. So AI involves data pre-processing also. So you don't think of AI as only teaching machines how to think. To teach machines how to think, you need to process data also. So pre-processing of data is also a domain of AI. Then doing analytics on data, so data science, which we call, is also part of AI. So AI is a more overarching term, and then you'll have artificial general intelligence, which is the end goal, you can say, for AI, which researchers are working on right now, is where we want to be towards, that where we have actual like machines that think like humans do. Right now, all these large language models are based on predictions. They predict the next word. But eventually, we want to be in a state where the machine can think like humans do. It may have emotional intelligence also. So things like these is what we are working towards. So all of this is encompassed in artificial intelligence. And then machine learning is a very niche specialization within artificial intelligence that specifically works with how to train machines to make inferences, to make decisions based on certain data sets.
Yeah, and another question I had, I read about your company MethdAI, and as far as I know, it's using AI for surgery.
So MethdAI, we primarily are a learning organization. So we don't actually develop algorithms for companies to use. We are helping students like you get excited about AI. So right now there are around 250 million students in India in the in the age group of 1 to 18 years, and there are 250 million who are after the age of 18 years, who are either employed or looking for an employment. So we are working for the first 250 million students, where we are helping them get excited about AI and possibly think of a career in AI in the future, whether it is in the domain of machine learning, whether it is in computer vision or natural language processing or data analytics, no matter what domain they choose, but at least it is a domain within AI is what we are working towards. So we create a lot of content for students, for schools to make AI learning more exciting. That's what we do here at MethdAI.
One more question I had, like, what are some of the major challenges that a person faces when entering into this?
Well, the major challenges is it can be a little overwhelming, right? I mean, like any, because, and this is very new. So you might have to do a lot of learning, and the learning is also, since there is a lot of resource available for you to learn from, you might find yourself in a sea of learning resources available to you, and you might get overwhelmed and want to leave it in midway. That's the biggest challenge right now. So what I would suggest is you should not be afraid of failing or not afraid to try new things. So if you are set on a learning path, let's say you take up a course in AI, or you take up let's say in when you're in college in your bachelor's degree program, you take up a course and you find it to be difficult, I recommend it to not leave it midway because you find it hard. Because the learning curve from the Indian education system in grade 11 and 12 standard, and when you go to let's say an Ivy League college, is very different. And it's the way they teach and the way they tackle the course is very different from how we have been taught traditionally. So if you are you from an IB board of school or a CBSE
Huh,
affiliated school?
IB.
Yeah. So for you, it will be a little easier because you do a lot of project work when you are in school.
Huh,
A
huh.
lot of time is spent writing reports, doing project work, and that's how these Ivy League courses are structured also. So in that way, you are better equipped to be part of that curriculum. But I would say but still there is a huge shift, especially when you are in year two of your bachelor's degree, is where courses start to become very challenging. So I would recommend that you not get overwhelmed by the onslaught of jargon that will be thrown at you, and you find what you get most excited by. So whether it is within AI, you think machine learning is what excites you more, or whether it is open CV that computer vision that excites you more, or natural language excites you more. So you start pick up projects, do a lot of research work, try and get yourself involved with professors and become their teaching assistants or their research assistants. So those opportunities are available when you are in the university. Do a lot of practical learning. That is what I recommend when you are in college, because that will not only help you to build up your resume when you are looking for when you go for a master's program, or you decide to take up a job, so that not only that, it will also help you to continue to be motivated about the subject.
Thank you for sharing. We also would like to know, Ashish, from you. There are many colleges in India who are offering computer
Mhm.
science as well as machine learning and
Mhm.
AI. So, is it
Mhm.
better that a student takes up computer science engineering, or you would prefer a AI and ML course in India? And from where?
Well, yeah, so I would again it's this my answer would still remain the same,
Hmm.
because all of the courses in AI and ML, whether it is in India or it is in an Ivy League college or it is in NTU or any other university, they're all very new, and their curriculum is also changing very quickly. So, for a student, I would recommend, if you are very focused on picking a career in computer science, then go for a more general approach, because it will include courses on neural networks also. It will have a course on deep learning. It will have a course which is specific to AI. In the second half of the engineering degree, you will have the option to take up specialization also. And a bachelor's degree is nowhere enough if you're really serious about AI. If you want to build a career in AI, a master's or even a PhD is the way to go. A bachelor's program won't just cut it. So your learning with AI will not end with the bachelor's degree if you're serious about pursuing a career in AI and becoming an AI engineer and working in companies like Microsoft or OpenAI or companies like these, then you will have to continue to pursue masters or PhD, and that's when you can actually pick up your specialization in AI. So don't worry about picking whether a bachelor's degree program in AI. Focus more on what kind of faculty you will get, what their curriculum looks like, what all will be incorporated in that curriculum, what is the scope for research that is available in that the university has to offer. Things like these is what you should be more focused on rather than the picking a degree. So go
Right.
for a more general degree is what I recommend.
Are there internships also available where students can spend some time and get a feel of what the work is?
So the best way to do it is while you are in college, especially in the first year or the second year. That's where your course load is lighter. So especially during your summer break, because you have summer break as well and you have winter break as well. Try and take up internships, whether it is in the university itself. So you have research centers in all universities. You can take up course like in internships under a professor in the university itself and work on projects there. There are also campus placements that start happening from the second year onwards for internships. There are internship fairs that regularly happen at all universities. At least they happened at NTU, so I'm sure they happened at these Ivy League universities as well. So you don't have to worry about. There'll be ample opportunities for internships when you are inside a college. So you will be at a point where you will be just figuring out which one to choose because there'll be so many options.
We would also like to know, like for a student getting into this field, if you could share
Mhm.
what is the work role from morning till evening, or how are the days going like? Is it very stressful or is it system based, or how is the work role?
Well, it all depends on the organization again. And all these major organizations, whether it is Google or Meta or OpenAI, I think they have odd working hours in the start, especially for engineers who are just getting into it. So, I mean, this is the time when you should not be afraid to work odd hours. Sometimes that is the call. And I would say that if you enjoy it, continue to do it, right? If you don't do it because you have for any other reason, but because you want, but because you enjoy it, because that will keep you that will continue, you will continue for a longer time. But if you do it for, okay, I'm just doing it because I want a job or I'm doing it for money or any other reason, then you might might find it difficult to sustain it, and it might lead to burnout eventually. So do it to enjoy it, and always I say to work smarter rather than work harder. Right? Try of finding ways to work smarter, because that will also help you maintain a work life balance as much as possible, given that you are in the domain which is very challenging and highly competitive right now.
Does this work require any specific personality, interest, or any person from any field can take it up? Like students who are very studious or they're very talkative, they cannot sit at one place at a desk. Can they also fit into this work profile if they are interested?
With this AI coming in, right, the every workspace is going to change. So no longer is a commerce student just confined with having commerce knowledge and that's it. They should know a bit of data analytics also, and vice versa. Any AI engineer should know a little bit of finance, commerce, because that's how the role is going to be like with AI being available to everyone. So at some level, everyone will have a knowledge of everything at their hands at all the time. So what I recommend, so right now there is no uh, like personality trait that I would say that fits well with a computer science engineer. All I would say is as long as you enjoy what you're doing, is let's say you enjoy coding or you enjoy the mathematics of it, or you enjoy creating something, then this is the field for you.
So we
You
have
have to be creative in this domain. Yeah. So as long as you're creative, you are inquisitive to learn new things, this field is for you.
So creativity, mathematics, then continuous learning are the core of this field, and of course coding.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, coding, you will eventually, there's no running away from it. But even with AI coming in, coding is becoming more and more accessible to everyone. I mean, sometimes you don't even have to code to get your work done anymore. So you just need to figure out a way to use the tools that are available to you to work smarter, like I said before. To think creatively is what I would say, and continuous learning, of course, is what I feel is the core requirement of this job skill.
Is a work structure a bit organized, discipline, or it's random, like spontaneity is required in you, or is it more of
Oh,
scheduling,
yes.
planning?
So, no matter how much you schedule, especially in the IT domain, when you're working in a product-based environment, um, or even if you're working in a service-based environment, in both these cases, it can lead there can be chaos, and you just have to figure out a way to work through that chaos. It can happen sometimes when you're working on a product, let's say, issues might arise late at night because your users are working with your product 24/7, especially when you are a SaaS-based organization. Let's say you are working at OpenAI, at one of the GPT models. So your problem can arise at any point in time. And same goes for the service industry. Let's say you're working at a consultancy who's developing AI solutions. You could be working with clients that are based in a very different time zone than yours. So you should be willing to work late hours. So that's very possible for any kind of work that you do, especially in the IT industry. So they try to make it as structured as possible. All these companies, they have fixed schedules and tasks for the week, for the month, for the day, but chaos can erupt anytime. So you should be prepared for the uncertain.
Ashish, we would also like to know from you. There are students who are not very good in studies. They don't get very good marks,
Mhm,
but they do
mhm.
diploma courses after 10th standard. That's a DT ka courses, right? 3 years ka
Yes,
diploma.
yes,
After that,
mhm,
if they want to get into this sector, can they go
yeah,
for BE in computer science or a diploma in AI and ML and get
yes.
grow ahead in that field as well?
So I know that the AKTU,
Hmm.
that the ITI is in
Yeah,
UP.
ITI is there, DT is
They
there. Yeah,
yes. So they offer a technical course on AI
right.
as part of the diploma program. So students can take those up if they want to, if they are really enjoy it and they want to pursue this field further. They can. There are options to for them to take up a bachelor's, continue with their bachelor's degree program after that. So there are multiple opportunities available for ITI students also. Students need not get discouraged by going for a diploma. They can always pursue a bachelor's degree program after.
Right. So wonderful sharing by you regarding to AI and ML and the skills and the personalities required. We would also like to know from you, since you have done mechatronics,
Mhm.
which is a combination of mechanical engineering and electronics. Would you share some
Yes,
learning? It's how is this different from mechanical engineering and electronics? Because many students are still taking up separately. So how is
yes.
mechatronics different?
So for me, mechatronics was one of the harder subjects in the mechanical engineering space. It's considered one of the hardest after aerospace engineering in NTU. So aerospace engineering, you would consider the hardest form of engineering there is in out of mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and computer sciences. And after that, if there is anything difficult that was considered so-called challenging, was mechatronics. And but the unfortunate part was that this program was only introduced in the later half. So after 3.5 years was the specialization began, and and it was because of the professor that I did really well. So again, there was a professor in my robotics 401 course which I took up in the fourth year. The professor was amazing, and that course lasted the year. So there was part one of the course, and then there was I had to take it up again in the second semester. And the professor was amazing. I mean, if you looked at the examination paper for that subject for robotics, you had to write integration problems which could take up pages, like tens of pages to solve. But he made that so simple for you that you got excited by, and you did not feel it as a chore when you were solving integration problems for robotics. Robotics is that's the core of mechatronics, and also microcontroller design. So these are very technically challenging subjects. I mean, yeah, you need to be prepared to study for long hours for these subjects. Only then I would take up. You can take feedback from of course, before choosing that specialization, I would recommend you take feedback from the seniors. That they will help you a lot, because they are the closest ones who have experienced the course firsthand. Because again, the course changes very often.
As you have done this field, education, mechatronics, do you still recommend students to take mechatronics, or they should be going separately for mechanical and separately for electronics if they are interested in that field?
Well, if you're taking up computer science, for example, that structure is very different for computer science students. Their course structure is very different. So I would say that you can start with a computer science degree, and you can pick and choose the courses as you go along. So when you get into the second year, third year is when you will actually start to see difference in courses. But you need not worry yourself, because uh, you will decide, you will taking up these courses, you will be able to decide what master's degree program will you be pursuing in the future. It will only help you decide that much. It's because any amount of courses that you take will not prepare you for the job market, because that is significantly different from what is happening on the in the bachelor's degree. So any which way, it will only help you decide whether you want to pursue a degree in hardcore coding, or you want to pursue a degree in which is a mix of mechanical and electronics and coding, or you want to purely get into mechanical design. So that only you will be able to decide when you take up these courses. Also, there are a lot of clubs in these college universities. Like there will be a robotics club. There is usually a club where they're competing in robotics challenges or competitions or hackathons. There are clubs that specifically focus on, let's say, building solar cars, because that was a club that was there in when I was in institute. So there was a dedicated championship that happened for universities of Singapore, Malaysia, and the Southeast Asian region on solar cars, on gas powered vehicles. So there was a team working on that. So try and get yourself enrolled in one of these clubs as well. That will help you a lot and help you choose what excites you more, whether it is coding that you enjoy more, or is robotics is what something that uh, is where your passion lies. So a combination of courses offered by the college plus the clubs that are available that are student led in these institutes is what will help you a lot.
Right. So here you have shared two very important learnings. One, to be ready for the job market, we have to do masters or maybe PhD. And side by side, we need to do internship courses. And we
Yes.
also have to decide on the stream by first building the foundation and the basics. Right.
Yes.
And second learning, which we just learned, is being a part of the various clubs and the activities, because that will also help us to grow as a person, which will enable
Yes.
us to survive and even perform better at the workplace. So
Yes.
technical development along with personal development will happen over here. I guess this will also help us in networking and communication skills.
Yes, absolutely. Because when you're part of a club, you're not just tasked with designing, let's say, a product or a project. You're tasked with designing the business economics of that project, whether it is financially viable. So you're just tasked with developing business plans, your marketing plans, marketing strategies, go-to-market strategies for that project. You're designing marketing material for your, let's say, if you're working on a solar car, you're creating marketing creatives for that project for you. Let's say you're creating banners, things like those. You're creating websites for your solar car project. It involves working with people from diverse backgrounds, because you're not the only one who's doing it. There are people with different skill sets you have to work with. You might be a treasurer of your club, you might be a president of your club, a vice president, or the marketing guy. So everyone has different roles in that club, and if you get to be a part of any one of these roles, I think you'll learn tremendously. And you can try and be part of different roles in different societies and see what excites you more, so that in case if you feel in the future coding is not for you, or computer science degree is not for you, then you can fall back to these clubs and see where your passion lies more. So sometimes I've seen a lot of students go into pick up, they are pursuing computer science degree, and after 4 years they decide that marketing is the field for them because they did a minor in business while they were in NTU. So there are a lot of opportunities for engineers to do minor programs also. For example, I did a minors in business when I was doing my engineering at NTU. So if that's something that you are excited about, you can feel free to do that also.
So it's basically exploring oneself and discovering oneself during the
Yeah.
process of learning through majors,
Mhm.
minors, and activities and clubs. And at
Yes.
that same time, it also gives you opportunity to change your path in case you feel that you're
Yes.
not at the right place. So you have the opportunity instantly take the decision and change it.
Hmm.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. We would also like to know more about your company, MethdAI, and what is your work role over there? How are you
So
helping students?
my role is I'm wearing multiple hats at different points in time. So sometimes I'm looking after finances, sometimes I'm looking after marketing strategies, sometimes I'm looking at the content that we are developing, and sometimes I'm just going to schools, talking to teachers, and getting their feedback, conducting trainings, attending trainings for teachers, see how my team is performing, what my objective is, what can we do better, how can we do it faster, and how can we do it cheaper. So uh, all of my day-to-day tasks revolve around either one of these activities. So I'm fortunate enough to be doing this, and what excites me is when we are able to give a eureka moment to a student,
Yeah.
and they're able to do something which they were not able to do earlier, is what is most satisfying for us. And we get to work, and we get to go to school every day, because you will sincerely miss these days. I know this is a very cliche term thing to say, that you will miss the time when you were in school, but it's very true. And I'm fortunate that my job allows me to do that every day.
Definitely. School days are the best days of the life. No
Mm.
matter how the teacher scolds you, how many exams you have to
Mm.
write down, but they are the
Yes.
best. We would also like to know, Ashish, how do you take care of your health along with
Mhm.
work, and what
Mhm.
guidance you have for students so that along with the present system of learning and education, they keep themselves physically and mentally fit?
I think it's that's very important for me personally, to stay physically fit, because that takes care of my mental health also. Mental health is something that is, especially in India, is not on the topmost priority of most people. It's starting to gain a lot of traction. A lot of startups are working in this domain to make mental health of working professionals um, more accessible, mental health care more accessible. But for me personally, what works really well is physical activity and sports. So I play a lot of tennis. I play almost every day for an hour, and that is what keeps me like both mentally and physically fit. So I always recommend to take up a sport to all students, no matter how good or bad you are. You can, it doesn't matter, as long as you are just drenching yourself in that sport. And you, because I don't miss even a single day of tennis. It's either I'm playing tennis or I'm working out by myself. So I make sure that I have at least 1 hour a day for this activity, no matter what the cost. So I will change all plans to make this time available to me.
One
So
physical activity is must so that
is a
we
must.
exercise out, sweat out ourselves, wrench it out, all
Yes,
our muscles keep moving,
yes,
and none of them are in the junk area. And
yes.
yeah, great, great. So
So
along
because
with
that will,
work, yeah,
yes, that will help you in the long run also. It will keep you mentally fit also. I mean, it'll help continue to. you'll always look forward to that one thing that at the end of the day or at the start of the next day, whatever your schedule is, you'll always look forward to it, no matter if you have a bad day or a good day.
Right. So for students, it's their studies plus one sports activity and one mental activity.
Yes.
And for the grown-ups, we have one sports, one physical, and something in the work area. Right.
Yeah.
The last thing which we want to know from you, let's say you have to start your journey once again and go back to your school. You are in school right now, but then you are a
Yes.
student, you become. So what advice you give to the younger Ashish now? And
Yes.
you are in 9th standard.
Well, I would say that I would interact with people more. I would ask more questions. I would explore more. I would step out of my comfort zone a little bit more if I was young again. Because that's what I get to do now. I'm fortunate. But had I been like this uh, at a younger age, uh, I would open myself up to more opportunities. And I would ask more about what career. Like, I never asked around about what college to go to. That's the college I got an admission to, fortunately, as a backup option. So this was my backup. That okay, I could not get through JEE, and NTU was the next best thing that was available to me. But I could have done more research as to what program I wanted to choose, because I enjoyed coding a lot when I was doing mechatronics. So maybe I would have pursued a computer science degree, and that is only possible when I ask questions, whether it is my peers, whether it is my mentors, or whether it is the students that I'm around. And I'd always try to surround myself with people who are more intelligent than me, who know more than me. So if you are fortunate enough to do that, do that.
So asking questions, moving out of the comfort zone, right? And getting more
Yes.
knowledge and exposure to the outer world
Yes.
is the
Yes.
best advice for students can have. If any student
Yes.
wants to get in touch with you, how can they connect with you?
So I have my email ID. I'll put it on chat.
I'll put it in the descriptions when we upload the YouTube video.
You have my email ID.
Right.
You can always write to me. I try and respond within 24 hours. So yeah, this is the best way to. And I'm also available on LinkedIn. I think you have my LinkedIn also. So these are the two places where I'm the most active.
So students who are listening this video and watching this video, we'll share the description of Ashish in the YouTube, and we'll have his email ID and LinkedIn profile uploaded, shared over there. So those who want to get in touch with him can go through this. Thank you, Ashish, for the wonderful sharing you had today. Most of our doubts have got cleared, and we assume that most of the students will benefit from this, and wish you all the best for the success and best of luck in your future.
No, I wish Punya the very best. I hope you get a college. I'm sure that you'll get a college of your dream and of your choice. And even if you don't, I'm sure that you'll find the career path for you. As long as you keep trying, don't be disheartened. As long as you are honest with yourself and you keep trying, is what matters. No matter what JEE score you get, no matter what SAT score you get, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You will eventually, everything will fall into place as long as you work hard and you do the hard work.
Nothing, just thank you for all the knowledge that you shared. It really helps a lot in my clarity.
Thank you, Ashish, for today's session.
Thank you so much.